The Peel police officer who shot and killed 62-year-old Ejaz Choudry in this Mississauga apartment building last June won't be facing any charges. An SIU report finds that the officer was justified in his actions. The family and community feels otherwise, saying the frail man with mental health issues wasn't given the support he needed. A warning: some of our viewers may find the details of this story disturbing.
As a family, we weren't surprised as to what the finding is. We were just disappointed. The reason why we were disappointed is because there was no accountability, zero accountability. We see again and again, it's SIU clearing police officers of all wrongdoings.
Officers were called to Choudry's apartment to check on his well-being. Choudry's family said they called a non-emergency line for help while Choudry was in crisis and needed medication, but police showed up. The Special Investigations Unit report states officers found Choudry kneeling on a prayer rug and holding 2 kitchen knives. In a more than 3-hour encounter, he eventually locked himself inside. The father of 4 had schizophrenia and mobility issues.
I think he needed support, and support from someone who was going to actually be there to help him.
The SIU says officers tried to get Choudry to surrender, but when he stopped responding, 3 tactical response officers forced their way in through the 2nd floor balcony. When Choudry would not drop a knife, they fired an energy-conducting weapon at him and rubber bullets. When that didn't work, an officer shot him twice in the chest. The report says that officer declined to be interviewed and didn't provide notes, as is allowed under the Ontario's Police Services Act.
I feel it took a toll again, but his kids are very strong, and they're fighting and they're seeking justice.
This case, one of a few recent deadly police encounters in Toronto and Peel involving people in crisis, including Regis Korchinski-Paquette, who fell from her balcony while police were in her home, and DeAndre Campbell, who was shot and killed by police after he called 911 for help.
We need to move money away from police budget and into a more holistic approach for us to respond to community members when they're in crisis. Police are not the answer.
Peel Police released a statement following the release of the SIU report, which reads in part, "While we are addressing the growing needs for mental health support, we know that gap still exists." The chief adds they are working with the Canadian Mental Health Association and community partners to expand the mobile crisis rapid response teams to address the growing need for service for those in distress. In Choudry's case, the SIU notes officers knew the crisis team was busy responding to another call. Choudry's nephew says the report is especially worrisome right now, and it isn't just about his uncle.
With COVID, mental illnesses are on the rise, and we want to make sure everyone's safe. We want to make sure everybody's given the help they deserve as a human, as a Canadian.
We are seeing about a dozen or so protesters gathered here outside of the building where the incident took place last June. They've been going into the middle of the intersection every so often, chanting justice for Ejaz. Now, the family's lawyer says they aren't happy with the explanations provided by the officers as to why the family wasn't allowed to speak to Choudry as the night unfolded, or why lethal force was used at all, which is why they are looking forward to a coroner's inquest.